Hello to all of my BPTV fans, Facebook fans, YouTube fans, and new fans. I'm Alan Levine, the Talking Machine, doing my 16th Maria's Ideas Teaches Us to Paint.
I'm Maria DeSimone Prasic from Maria's Ideas here on the top of the Southside Slopes at Johno's, our studio where we film the show. And I'm so excited to have our friend and very talented friend, musician, Mary Amrhein-May. And I'll let her explain what she does. And we are so happy to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes,
I'm
we
excited.
are. So carry on. I won't interrupt anymore.
Hi, I'm Mary. I'm a cellist professionally and also teach. And I'm the proud person of Morty. We're going to paint Morty today, our rescue dog.
You'll be fine. You'll do great. Yes.
So
all right.
We can get started?
Okay, you're ready to go. All right, so we are painting Morty today. Morty to the rescue, we called it because Morty was a rescue. Thank you for rescuing him. He is a baby doll. I look forward to meeting him. And these are colors that you like, so I designed that for you. So we're going to get started, and we are going to paint Morty. All right? So we're going to start with, we're using acrylic paints. If you're watching this or painting on, we always use acrylic paints. For this episode, we are using white, red, yellow, green, orange or coral color, and black. And then we use the 11 by 14 canvas board, just so it doesn't bounce whenever we film. It's a little easier, but you can use a canvas or paper or anything you choose. All right, so we are going to grab a 1/2 inch. It's in the kit, it's the largest flat brush, okay? 1/2 inch flat shader. And we are going to paint the background first, and we're going to start with just this coral color. So I want it to be a little bit lighter. So we're going to grab some white first. Whenever you mix a color.
We dip our brush in the water.
Yeah, I mean, this brush didn't have any of the glue or something you can.
I didn't want to break the rules.
Well,
I do what I'm told.
Yeah.
I'll go with the white, yes.
When it has the glue on it, you could do it either way for this one. It doesn't have that on there. So
white.
So I grabbed a generous amount of white. I'm putting that on my palette. And then I'm taking this. It's not a pure orange, it's more of a coral color. It's a little gooey, isn't it?
Oh.
We're going to put that next to it and then introduce the colors.
So we just go with this same brush
and
into the orange?
just grab, usually I go into the
You'll
paints.
find out Maria really likes combining colors.
I do, and I like when you dip into the paint, if you go into the in more of the edge instead of contaminating it
so
in
I
the
didn't
center.
Pollute the whole thing.
Yeah, that's just what I usually do. So I'm just going to mix up the color that I like. I feel like I want it a little bit darker than what we have on the design. And this is your painting, so do it any way you choose. Just keep in mind he's lighter, so if the background is too light, he won't pop as much. And this is acrylics, and acrylics dry darker, a little bit darker.
We don't want Morty to be washed out.
No. And so now this orange paint or coral paint is a little bit thicker, so I'm going to add a touch of water. You just want to have a nice consistency with your paint so it will flow. And then I'm just going to come in and we're going to work around, I'm going to put this right here. We're going to work around Morty and around the flowers. We're not worried about the flowers right now. We're just going to come in, and you can see I'm laying my brush down. And I'm going to flip it over and just clean off the brush. Get the brush off of both sides and just come in around. And if this still feels like it's dragging a little bit, you could see the texture in the canvas. Just add a little bit of water, and that will help the paint to flow. So you can turn the brush on its edge like this. You can hold it flat. You could use the corner of the brush and just to cut in and just.
I'm not the brightest bulb, but this will be the background color we're starting at?
Yes, this is the background.
Just to check.
Yes, it is the background. We usually work with the background first. We're going to do a couple different things here than we normally do because of the different colors in Morty, and I'm purposely not concerned with having it a perfectly smooth background. I like to have the texture. See the paintbrush strokes here? I'm even adding, you can add some of the color. I just added some more white. You could do it directly on the canvas too. So if you want to just introduce a little bit more, I think I'm going to make it a little bit darker even right here around his head, just because. And you could see this paint is thicker, so I'm going to add a little bit of water and just move it around. I kind of like that it's, let's see, our light source, we're going to say the light source is on the left side.
Oh, okay.
You can see here, whoops, it's a little brighter here. So I am going to make it a little bit darker behind his head.
Okay.
You don't
This
have
is
to.
the advanced class, Mary.
Advanced class.
We're going
We're
advanced.
flying.
We're going
flying.
advanced real quick here.
You know, I have this paint by number thing at home somewhere from when I was a kid.
Oh.
It's a koala bear. I
Aw,
had to,
Oh, wow.
to dig it out and find it for you.
nice. I have my brother-in-law is Native American, Eli Thomas, and he's very well known with for his artwork up in like the Rochester, New York area and around.
wow.
And his work is very, very detailed and amazing. And he has a lot of beautiful like imagery in his art that you don't really see all at once. And people come up to him and they're real serious at the shows and
Oh.
events. And Eli, how do you do that? It's so amazing. And he, with this straight face, of course, he always says, "Well, I just put enough paint on to cover up the numbers." And he doesn't
brilliant.
laugh, so they think. And I said, "Do you know that paint by numbers are a thing now, though, right?" So people really think they might
that's
think
what
that's
he-
what he does because then they just look at him. They don't think it's funny. They don't laugh, but
Wow.
he says that all the time. I just put enough paint to cover up the numbers.
I love doing it. I never stayed
It's
in
relaxing,
the lines.
right?
I had a sweatshirt that said "Color outside the lines."
Exactly. It's more fun.
Nice,
That's like
nice
my
sweatshirt.
motto. Yeah, one
You
of
should
my-
have wore it today.
Exactly.
I
Unbelievable.
should have dug it out.
Might be in the archives.
There.
It's in the closet.
Now
somewhere.
you can see I like to see that the modeling of the color where it's a little darker, a little lighter. Again, this is your painting. Do it any way you choose. But
My
that's
Morty.
yeah, that's paint's kind of
He's a cutie, by the way.
He's very cute. So I'm going to just move along with the next step, but don't worry about catching up. I'll make sure you're able to follow along, okay? But that's the background. We're not going to do the flowers yet. And we're not doing the green yet. So we're going to work on,
Just back.
That would leave Morty.
yeah. So what we're going to do, we have,
Whoa.
oh, I like that in there. So you
I
gotta
know,
leave that.
I'm gonna leave
yeah.
it.
We have our darker areas, our midtones, and our lighter. So we always work dark to light. So what we're going to do is mix a color. We don't have brown, but we're going to make a brown. We are going to start with, let's see, I'm going to put some black on my palette. And then I'm going to take some of this, kind of like a terracotta color. I'm going to put that here. And I'm going to mix that with it, but I feel like it's still a little coming up too orange. I wanted to warm it up a little, so I'm going to take some yellow and see how I like
You're going
that.
another level with us, Maria.
This will be, you can see it's like more of a caramely brown.
So what did you start with? The
black.
Black.
Yep, black, and then a little bit of the orange,
coral stuff.
and then the white. Now, it's not really. I still feel like I want it a little bit more taupey, so I'm going to add a little bit of green. See how I like that?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, and then it will dry a little bit darker, and I'm going to put a little bit more. Yeah, I think that'll work. Because we're making this color with the same palette of color, so it will work well with the colors that we have on the rest of the canvas.
Because that all started out
Yes,
that way.
exactly. See, you know. And then, so what I'm doing, I'm coming in under his ear. This is creating that shadow under his ear. So we have this section, we have this, but we're leaving a little bit light here. And you could see, Alan, on your picture,
Yeah.
and you can look over maybe if you need to. Just some of that, it's more of the, not the darkest dark, but it's more the mid-tone. And I'm also going to hold the paintbrush in a way that, if you look at the direction of his fur, I'm going to paint the
look
brush
at that.
strokes,
Yeah.
okay, kind of in the same direction. I feel like I need this a little bit. And he may end up looking a little more orangey or whatever. I don't know. It doesn't
he
matter.
said if you take a few years off him, he's fine with that.
Morty, I was going to say, does Morty know?
We
Does
got
he
that
know?
settled.
Morty
We're
goes with
painting
the
him.
flow. He fell asleep when I got up this morning.
So you didn't get a chance to tell him.
My husband took care of getting him breakfast, taking him out.
There you go.
So he was
Thank you
already
for coming.
down for his morning nap when I left.
Cute.
Thank you for having me.
Oh.
Okay, so
You're welcome.
black.
So black. So I kind of just went and started with the black, and then whenever you're introducing the other color, put it next to the
Okay.
darker. So you can
So you can
introduce them a
eat
little
them.
bit at a time instead of making a big blob of
Black.
something. And not just, I'm throwing in different colors until I get the one I like. I kind of like that too. And then if you want to lighten it up, you can see if I added the white, it brings it to more of a mid-tone brown. So I'm coming in,
So black, orange,
black,
white.
yellow, orange, and I added the green. I didn't like the green so much in there, so I went back to more of I added a touch of red instead. I did the opposite. So
I'm going to have to try to follow this.
yeah, we'll remind you. I think more of the red than the green look better. So you can see I'm coming in, again, these are all the midtones, and paint in the direction. You can see if I push the brush down and pull up, how it gives that more of a feathery kind of
do
a
that
look. Like
again.
I just push it down and pull up like that.
Oh.
See, like that. You could even test it, try. And then that, it looks kind of like fur. We're not trying to paint this like a photorealistic piece or anything, but even though he deserves it, but we're just going, and you could see there's this mid-tone. And you could see how I'm just scratching it off, kind of cleaning my brush. I want that scruffy look.
As long as you let him kiss you,
Yeah.
he's good with anything.
I can't wait to meet him. I will definitely let him kiss me. So you can see I did this, like just kind of like clean off your brush too, and that just gives it, just looks more like fur, okay? So look at the mid-tone areas,
Yes.
and then we can always make it a little lighter, we can always make it a little darker, but what we want to do is create the color that is going to emphasize his little muzzle, his snout there. We want that to come forward. The light colors come forward and dark colors recede. So you could see here already, by having this dark color all around his snout, how this is already coming forward. So that's, you
that's
see?
cool. So it's like making it dimensional.
Sure. Lights come forward and dark recede. And
So did you just figure that all out on your own when you were learning how to paint?
No.
Where did you learn all this?
Just today.
Just today.
I'm still learning, Mary, always learning.
That's why it was today.
Yeah. Just practice, learning and reading, and so kind of looks a little funny right now, looks a little messy, and that's okay.
Mine
And
looks
then-
so dark here. I got to lighten this up.
Let's see. Oh, your paint?
Yeah.
I would say, so put the, when you're mixing the new color, Alan, go beside the big
Okay.
the big blob of color, because otherwise you're just mixing. You end up with like a big soup pot full
Yeah,
of
I did.
paint.
I got that.
So
Thank
just
you.
like do it beside it, like go beside there now.
Yeah,
Take
I
some of
did.
that and go somewhere else in a clean spot. Go in a clean spot.
Oh,
No, on your plate.
Cute.
Go on a totally different spot. There you go.
Whoa.
And now add
Right.
some white.
I got to rinse it out.
A little
since-
bit of white, a little bit of red. Okay,
Yeah.
so you could see here. So again, keeping in mind, look, if I just do this even, this will show up underneath, anywhere the direction his fur is going, so you could see. And then I would say make some a little bit lighter too, keep some a variation.
So,
just kind of like clean off the brush, like let it, and don't, like take that water off.
and then,
Take it on the paper towel, yep.
and then,
And then just like see how it looks. Yeah, there might still be a little bit too much water. No, that's good. And just kind of, you can
Sort
see,
of doing-
see how his fur, the direction of his
you
fur.
were doing that
Yeah.
sort of.
And just kind of smush. I always say don't smush the brush, but smush the brush this time. Like kind of like, see how I'm just kind of like, just pushing it, and it gives it that texture. And then we want some here. I'm just looking at the way his fur is laying. And then we want, so that's like our mid-tone, that's more of a brown. Yep, that looks good.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah,
this
no,
is
it looks,
looking all
it looks
right.
great. And then just keep in mind, again, where it looks the darkest, and then there's that little section under here, that right here that has the brown. And now I'm going to use the same color or a slighter variation of it. So I'm just going to add white. So I have the same color and maybe a touch of black so that I have like a warm gray. And now there's some other areas where, again, I'm just coming in. Now you can see I'm using the corner brush. You can use, I think I'll maybe switch to a smaller brush because it might be easier for you guys to control. If we go with, let's try this new one that's in there. This is a 1/4 inch angled brush, which we've never had before. This came in the kit. So it's a 1/4 inch angle brush. And what we're going to do, we added white to that mixture. And we're coming in and we're going to outline him, but not necessarily a big, dark, straight line. Or, you know, we're going like this. We're putting some little dashes, okay?
So like right along the edge.
Again, that's creating that suggestion or illusion of fur, right? You can see it sticking out. And we're going to cover some of this up too. And just come around, do the top of his head. And again, a lot of this will get covered. We want to cover it, but we want to also show the definition of where his ears are and everything. And then kind of do that. We'll do that along here. And we'll just basically just outline his body. Okay, that's sort of like there's some mid-tone areas. And if like this, I feel like there was too much of the darker here, I'll just throw a little bit of that lighter one again. It's layers. So where you feel like, oh, maybe it's a little too heavy there, like this part might be, you might want a little bit of definition. This is all the same, so it looks flatter. You want that to go forward. You want this to come up, so make this a little lighter. So just add a little bit of white to your mix.
Oh, okay.
And then go over it again.
Oh, okay.
And then that will bring it forward. So like right here, mine is all the same, right?
Right.
It's the same. This looks a little deeper. I want this to come forward, so I'm taking that little bit of that lighter.
Oh,
Paint, and you see how that brings it up.
So you just
Same thing. And then
look at that.
Yep.
Magic.
See, light comes forward and dark recedes. And then when I did this, you can grab the smaller brush too for some of the more detailed areas. And then once, I would grab the little angled one. Yeah. And then we're going to grab just black, okay? Straight black. And we're coming in. We're just going to block in the eyes. We're not worried about his little pupils or highlights or anything yet. We're just blocking these in.
And the reason the angled brush for that.
And the reason we're doing this dark stuff first is because we want this to dry a little bit before we get to the white area. We're just kind of popping around different areas because we don't have as much time as, if you have 5 hours to do this at home or whatever, you can do this in different stages. But we need to paint in a way that it's drying in areas so that when we go back in with a different color, it doesn't smear and smudge. So you could see I'm coming in here with the black, and you leave that little white area for that where his little nostrils are.
Okay.
We'll still add that, but if you leave it, and then this is more like a little gray, a little lighter. Well, we add our highlights and shadows. It's pretty much just highlights and shadows, right? And then, just block it in. Yeah, just don't want it too heavy because we want to make sure it'll dry in time. And then this right here is keys. This is his little mouth area right here. You see how it's really dark under there?
Gotcha.
And this is where he'll get his expressions. They'll all look different. And that'll be really cute. And then we're coming in for the collar.
This might be like my best painting experience.
Aw. Wait till you see it done. I know you'll do a great job. And you're a musician, so tell me so you teach and you have something coming up where you'll be playing?
Yeah, so I, this next week I'll be in West Virginia for the Wheeling Symphony is doing children concerts at schools.
Oh, nice.
Boy, I keep dropping my brush. So I have that, and then last night I was playing the Bocelli concert, which was amazing.
Wow, he was in town.
Yeah.
He was at the PPG place.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So it's great to play for a big crowd. It's great to play
Yeah.
it's great to play for anybody who wants to listen.
Sure.
Really. And we had Easter gigs, and then I teach at my home, and I teach at this place called Lewis Music Studio in Bridgeville.
Oh, okay.
And I love teaching.
Yeah.
And
you teach different age.
I teach
ages?
all ages. I have
Wow.
an adult who just wanted to learn.
How do they get a hold of you, Mary?
So the studio has information on the web.
We'll have that too.
Yeah, it's called.
Yeah.
But
Just thought I'd ask.
yeah, yeah, and it's just, I don't know. I just love it. I've played since I was 8 years old.
That's awesome.
Studied
That's
it at
great.
school. When you go to, it's not an easy field.
Right, and you have to love it to want to continue to do it, right? I mean, and you're always
Yeah, and convincing people to like pay for art and music.
Yes.
It's always a thing.
Yes.
It's always tough.
Right.
And we do need it. We need art. We need music.
Right.
It's very
I mean-
therapeutic. It's especially nowadays. There's a lot of anxiety in the world. A lot of people are stressed, and rightfully so. But the art and music can really help with the anxiety. Helps me. You
And
know.
I think it's hard being a kid these days.
Oh, yeah.
I think they have too many pressures.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I'm not one of
You're a
those.
stress buster.
Yeah, I'm not one of those teachers
I like
that
that.
says you have to practice this and you have
No.
to practice. It's like
And the same thing when we paint, when I teach, it's like, it doesn't have to look like mine, like do your own thing. And Alan has his own style, right, Alan?
Yes.
You do go with it.
It's
and
a little
yours
heavier.
is good. This looks good.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
But I think it's I want it to be sanctuary.
Sure. It
And I
should be
want-
enjoyable.
I want kids to like
like it.
have a lifelong love.
Yep.
Sure, you're helping their passion.
Right. And when they're introduced, same thing, art, music, or anything like that, they're, when they're young, then they do learn to love it, and then they will keep
Just
going.
think how much better the world would be
Oh, yeah.
if everybody had a dog.
Amen.
Or
Especially
cats,
like Morty.
or like Morty, and everybody either pursued an art or played an instrument.
Yeah.
Be a better place.
That's why we're doing the
Definitely.
Yep.
That's right. So you can see.
Oh, wow, he's
So,
coming- okay,
yeah.
so-
So I did the brown, the mid-tone brown. Alan, you did good with that.
Yeah, I'm
and then
trying.
I did some of the black. Just look at the darkest areas. We'll still do our highlights and shadows. And then I mixed like a warm gray. And again, there's just some here and there. You could see a little bit, some lighter areas. And that's pretty much it for those, because again, we're going to go back in with darks and lights. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pop on the just pure white, and we still may have to go back and shade that a little bit, but that's why, and if some of this black smudges into it or, comes in, it's okay. But we're going to use with the white, I'm still using the same small angled brush. So again, now keep in mind the
I
direction.
like this angle brush.
Yeah, it's cute. I like
It
it.
helps.
Yeah, just get a little bit more, Alan. You'll have to get a little bit more tone. Same here with you'll have to get some more of the browns and the grays
Yeah.
in there.
Okay, I missed
Okay,
out
so
on
that's what I
that,
said.
yeah.
You can keep doing that. I'm just going to move along, and I'll make sure, if you
Yeah.
need help. All right, so the white areas, the whitest white, we're coming in, again, keeping in mind the direction of his fur. Now, you can see when I come up here, I'm lifting up the brush, and I'm purposely covering up that line because I don't want it to be very heavy.
Right.
But if we painted this first and then the line, it's hard to, then you have to go back in and cover up the line. This way we purposely covered up, but leave some of it so that it shows where his ears are. And there's this little light fold in his ear there. There's some here. And then a little bit of a creamy color. I mean, it looks like he has different colors in his fur.
He's
We could-
multicolored.
Yeah, so
Definitely multicolored.
I'm going to take a tiny bit of yellow and just warm up the white. Ooh, that might be too much. A little bit, just a tiny bit, just to give it more of a cream color in some areas. And again, I'm coming in like around this above his eye. So we have to make sure that's lighter above his eye, because again, that makes the top of his eye come forward. And you can see that those brush strokes are in the direction of his fur.
So you did
have
white, and then you made it a little. You softened it with yellow, with a little
tiny
bit.
just here and there, not all of the white, just some of the areas. And all right, and I'm going to come over here. So again, up above his eyes, you can see it's the whitest. It's like really white there, and here. So when you paint feathers and fur, the experts say are like the most difficult to paint. So you're already
Feathers and fur?
Feathers and fur because the way they lay to
No
create.
feathers today, just
And
fur.
that's all we paint. We always paint feathers and fur. But
We got the fur going.
so you can see the whites, how that's popping. It's popping him forward, these areas right now when we get on here. Now the other thing too, when I lift up and I brought those little tails, you
Oh,
go
it gives it
over,
texture.
when you put the darker color down first and then you come up with the lighter and you overlap it, then you see the dark in between. And we're gonna grab this fan brush. We haven't used the fan brush often.
I was waiting for it to
let's
come
try,
out.
It's a little bit wide for what we're doing, but we're going to dip it right in. Now, on this, we don't want a lot of paint on it. We want more of a dry brush technique. I'm going to dab some of that extra paint. Now watch, and again, this might be too wide. They do make little smaller ones, but we'll see. If you use this fan brush and come out, you see how it's making that little, the little
Wow.
fur.
It's making the fur.
It's a little bit too wide, so you can kind of hold it. Now you could see if I use just the corner of it.
Part of it.
See how his fur kind of makes that little furry.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah, because that smaller
looks
one would have
amazing.
worked better, but what we'll do, and then
I
you
can't
can
wait to catch up.
And then look, if you take most of the paint off, it's just a dry brush technique. Now watch if I come over here and just lightly hit. You see how it just looks like little fur,
looks like
right?
him.
And then probably the corner just for most of it because it is a little wider than maybe we would want. And then this was what I was referring to before. We have this dark area.
Yeah.
Now if I go over, now his fur is in front of that, right? So if I go like this, see how it brings it forward and that goes backwards because the fur is laying on top. This is in front of that. This is a little harder to control because it's too wide.
But you know, like that makes him look not computer.
Right.
Right, because like nobody's fur all goes in the same way.
Exactly. And we are doing this by hand, right? No AI here. So I'm mostly, Ellen, I'm using more the corner of it because it is so wide. If we go like this, you'll get like
was wondering.
You'll
Okay.
get a big
Thanks for
wide.
that tip. Listen
Yeah.
closely. Use that little
Now,
edge light.
On a bigger area like this, you can do that. See, but it's so big that you don't really want to ever know what brush the person used. Like that, you don't necessarily want to see the shape of the brush. So
How the sausage gets made.
yeah, kind of like
Yeah.
if you do how the sausage gets made.
You don't want the to reveal the details.
Exactly.
The secrets.
Where's my? Yeah. So if I go like this and I just put the whole thing down, you'll see that, which is okay, but you don't really.
You can
want,
see what the brush is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you want to keep it a little more mysterious.
Yeah.
And then you could see here, now the fur would be laying over top of his collar, right? So this is his collar. So if I come in
Right.
and go over top the collar, see how I get that little, see the furs coming over
So
top
you
his
want
collar?
that, yeah.
So it's just a matter of knowing which direction, where to start from. Come this way, I'll go over the collar. So he's kind of coming up pretty good. He's looking very fluffy.
So tell me again, like I like that you added the yellow.
yes.
So
So I did the white,
what-
the whitest whites, so above his eyes would be really white. I just added a tiny, tiny bit of yellow and just made more of a cream color.
and that was for around. Oops.
Just here and there, yeah, just to give him a little more dimension. But keep in mind the direction of the fur.
Oh yeah.
Yes, always the brush stroke, because what that does, it helps already get the story going the way you want it to go, right? That's why put the brush stroke in the opposite direction of the feather or the fur if you need it to go that way. So he's like really fluffy. I'm going to go back to my little, I take that back. I'm going to go back. This is a little round brush.
Morty's gonna ask for payment in milk bones for being a model for this.
You need to, you'll
loves
have to
milk
get his
bones.
autograph
His
on it.
paw thing. I have a paw thing to do for him.
Aw,
I haven't done it yet.
aw.
Okay.
All right, so we just kind of moved around, get the whitest white areas. I have, looks like I need to get this in here. And then we can clean up the edges too. Now, I could see that parts of the ears now where we really want it to look like it's the deepest, darkest
Yes, because that's
part,
like, yeah.
okay? We're gonna go back to the black. I'm using my small round brush. Whenever you use a small round brush, you always want to twirl it like this and keep that little point. And I'm coming in, not too much of it, right up against that lighter area. I'm putting in, again, same brush stroke like this. Not a big solid line, but just some brush strokes. And we'll have to overlap this again with some of the lighter, but we have to get that dark color. You could see having that little section in there makes his ears look deeper, right? And then maybe accent a little bit here. There's a little bit here. And then once, since we have this on our brush, we can go along and see where else we need the little details of the black. Maybe pick out like his nose a little bit, and then come around here, and then we can come in with, add a little bit of a white. Then you come in, add a little bit of yellow. If you want a warmer gray, just add some of the orange or yellow to it, more of a taupey gray. And I feel like I need the light source. Our light source is on the left side. So we're going to highlight, you could see this left side of his nose. And then his little highlight right there. And then right here. This just to accentuate his little nostrils a little bit. I feel like his nose got out of shape here. Again, you can always come back in and highlight and shadow. Okay. And then, let's see.
So when you talk a lot about a light source, do you actually imagine like the sun shining on your painting?
It could be the sun. It could be a lamp. It could be, but there's a light source in
Outside
wherever.
of the picture coming from the left
Just wherever, so it just he's brighter on that left side. And when you determine where the light source is, it helps you decide where the shadow should go.
Maria, I'll
Where
need
the-
another plate.
Sure, where the shadow should go, where the highlight should go.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, he looks good. I just feel like you just need a little bit more of the dark and the light, the definition, here and there. But
So,
you're getting
Should I put white around here, or should I put more of
so a little bit of the darker here. You can see right here above behind his, just to distinguish. This is a little darker.
Okay.
And then his snout comes forward, and then maybe a little darker. Just look at. Don't worry about that it's a dog or it's fur. Just look at dark and light. Just sometimes if you
Keep it simple here.
if you think about what you're painting, it might get overwhelming. Just dark and light. That's all you need to worry about. And I'm just going to put some little lines here and there. And then you can see like under his eyes, it's more of a gray. Here. And then here. When we do, the best part is doing that little highlight in the eye. You'll see. So you can see it, just putting this dark area right here up against the light. That's what's going to make this go back and this come forward. See? And it doesn't have to be shaped like perfectly like a pyramid or a triangle. I'm just kind of picking, and I feel like it's a little bit too uniform there,
And for the dark stuff, you just used straight black for that stuff.
For this, I did, and then I'm just mixing a gray for like
in
kind of
between,
just to, you want the transition from the darker to the lighter to be more of a mid-tone. Just kind of pick out some little areas here, and then we'll look back. Like once we get most of it done, we'll look at it and see what else it needs. And I feel like this, sometimes you have to like step back again and look at it, And let's see, I feel like I need a little bit more, like there's a little bit more white, too much white, I feel like over here. So I'm just going to warm it up. I don't want it to be real dark, but I want it to be, I'm just kind of like a dirty white there. Because again, there's the shadow on this side.
Yeah.
And then,
So I'm asking you technical questions.
yeah.
So when you roll the brush,
Like this.
the point one.
So you can see what it does. You pull it and roll it at the same time. It gives you your little chisel point back.
Oh, I see.
Because if you do
It's
this
like sharpening
or
a
this,
pencil.
exactly. Otherwise, look, if you want a little point,
Yes.
it spreads the bristles out. Boy, he's really looking furry, huh? I don't know. So what you want to do is then see where you want that little bit of the dimension. You want it to be a little darker, a little lighter. His collar has a couple little highlights on there. I'm going to mix a light gray. You could see right around his ears. Now you want to shape his eyes a little too.
Yeah.
So you
'cause
can
they
see
look
there's
like blobs.
no,
right?
it's okay, but there's a little bit of a lighter. Oops, some water came off. A lighter color under his eye, more of a gray, and then right now his eyes are. I always say shark eyes, right? They look like shark eyes. A little bit here. Now watch when I put that highlight in his eye. So he's cute, right? We have his eyes going here. But watch, so it's a little bit of an expression, but when you put the highlight in, and you always put the highlights, whichever side of the eye, do both sides the same, or it will look googly-eyed. So I'm going to put a little highlight right here, and a little highlight right there. And look how it, didn't it bring him
There,
to
now
life?
he's
Just
like
that little.
suddenly, yeah.
Even though in the photograph it looks like it's more over here, and you could still do a little one here. But if you just do one there and on the opposite side, it looks funny. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to just let him dry for a little bit, and then I'll decide what other details he needs. But again, if I want the mouth to come forward, it doesn't look like this on the picture, but I feel like I want this to come forward. So I'm going to put some light there. Wherever you want
Gotcha.
something to come forward, make a lighter, and then recede, it gets darker. And then, let's see, a little dark here. So I'm going to let this dry and work on the flowers. All right, and I'll make sure you catch up, okay?
Sounds good.
And then the flowers, I'm just putting that straight, this coral color on this one. Just using my 1/2 inch flat. Boy, this is really gooey paint. And I'm moving that around, and I'm going to put yellow on top, so I'm not really worried about it being perfect there. And then on this one, it's also here. And then the red, I'm grabbing some red. I'm coming here with the red. And you can see I'm just laying the brush down and wiggling it, and that had some white in it. I kind of like that. However, sometimes the paints get mixed, and that's okay. Just pushing that around. And the yellow, I'm going to grab I'll grab my little liner, and I'm just straight yellow, and I'm gonna kind of want it to put a generous amount on the brush, and I'm just pulling it around like that. And you can use any combination of colors on your flowers too. They don't have to look exactly like mine, you know. Just do and they're kind of loose, just like more of a modern vibe here, stylized. This is a little.
It looks like I put glasses on him.
It's cute. No, it's cute.
So
as
what
it
do I
dries-
need? Yeah.
No, so what you'd want to do is just like here with the small brush, get just a little bit of paint on your brush and do just a little lighter, a little more white. Put some more white. And then go like this though, get that chisel point, really little tip. And just use the tip, don't brush. And then just put some right here, like right above his eye.
Right
yeah.
here?
Mm-hmm. Just like this. Here, if this is his, just like this. We're gonna come right in, just like a little, like
okay.
that. Like kind of outline it. I think it needs to be a little bit lighter. A little bit lighter. Yeah, that looks good. And then we have these like little berries here. Yeah, if you want the finer line, just use the tip of the brush. Don't press.
There, that looks a little better.
Yeah, that looks good. And then the green.
Looks like I gave him eyeshadow.
No, he'll come to life. It'll be good. It'll be good. It always looks it always looks worse before it gets better. So this green, I want mine to be a little bit brighter. That was more of an olivey green, which is fine. But if you want more of the olivey green, you would add a little bit of red to your green, and then the white to tone it down a little. I'm going to keep mine bright though, and I'm coming in, and I'm using that same big brush, and I'm just blocking this in. Again, when I come up to Morty, you see I'm lidding it, keeping it a little irregular brush strokes there. And I'm going to add a little bit of white in here. I'm just kind of, when I do the backgrounds like this, I just kind of like to spread the paint around in a really irregular manner. I don't know, I just think it makes it more interesting. You can go like this if you want, like grass, or just push it around. I'm going to do this, and then we can use our fan brush again for the little tufts of grass if we want. I'll show you that. Okay. And
So what
then-
have you done with all your paintings that you?
I hung them on my wall
Nice. You have a gallery.
in my bedroom.
Nice.
I do now. I got 12 from last year, and I got 3 up. I
Yay.
started the new row,
Nice.
so keep it going.
Do you have a favorite?
The first one
I was
we
going to
did
say, I bet you like
was
that.
my dream across the street in Greentree. They built all the hotels, but it was an apple farm,
Oh,
an apple orchard before that. And I even we went checking out the skies with meteor showers and all that stuff over the years, so I have great memories going all the way across the parkway, half-hour away, and having memories of that.
Yeah, we did that. That was,
Well, that's neat.
Yeah, so that was our first one.
All right.
And our Cardinal's a favorite because
Oh, I love cardinals.
it's over 4,600 views. It's like 4624, something
and
like
thank
that.
all of you for doing that,
That
and
was
viewing
Dave
it. We
painted that with
appreciate
us.
you.
Yeah. All right, so you can see I did my green. I did keep my green a little bit brighter. But like I said, if you want it more of an olive green, if you mix the complementary color with your color,
So you mix green and
if you
wood.
want the green to be a little more of the olive green, add red. You add the opposite
okay.
color.
Oh, okay.
It kind of it knocks it back the color without it getting muddy and dirty. If you add black, it just kind of get dirty.
Can I have another plate?
Oh yes, and then the stems. I'm just going to grab my little liner brush again. So I blocked in my leaves, my ground. I'm just doing my little lines here, and then this one has a stem that will come behind his ear, and this one, this little stem on these little berries. I don't even know what this is. Just a little suggestion of some kind of little berry type thing. Again, it's more stylized of a design here back. I wanted him to be a little bit more realistic and this a little simpler in the back to not
Right.
take away from him. And then when I did the leaves, I used the same 1/2-inch brush. I just went like this, and I just laid it this way and then went this way for the leaf.
Oh,
You just kind of lay it down and just fill it in. And then that's pretty much it. The black, we're going to do the centers. And you could see how I'm purposely letting the colors like kind of mix in as I paint them. And then we'll take the black again. I think I want the black to not be as harsh of a black, so I'm going to make it a warmer black. I just added some red to it, a little bit of water, and I'm going to just quickly outline, just very loosely outline the flowers just to make them pop a little bit. And here, and this one. And then the grass, if we want to, you can grab the fan brush again. Where'd my fan brush go? And you can go like this for some of the grass. And you can, if you do it, you can do it this way, but again, I feel like it's too wide. You can use the end of it,
Oh, yeah.
kind of like that. You could do the same thing with the other brushes, but you can use the fan brush for that. I'm just going to use one of my little brushes. Just grab some of that. And then that's it. And we just kind of look at it and just see,
He's so cute.
thanks. If he needs a little, I feel like he needs a little bit of some highlights and shadows. I need a little bit like this. I'm not crazy about the shape of this right here. I feel like it needs to come, I need some of that background color. Oh, and then we have polka dots too. So I'm going to do a little bit of this background color, and then I'm going to put this needs a little bit more shape there. Okay. All right, so polka dots, take the back of a brush
Oh, yeah.
and dip it in the white and just go like this.
Oh,
I like the polka dots are fun, right? Keeps it, because this is
I can
obviously.
do those.
Yeah, it's a little
I'm
bit
sure
more.
I can do those.
You did great, and you're not done yet. We'll finish yours up. So I think it makes it a little more whimsical. This is obviously a fun
Yeah.
painting, but I feel like mine needs a little. He needs a little work yet too. So we'll stop here, and then we'll come back and reveal the finished paintings. Okay?
Hooray.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome back. We are finished with our paintings. Quick paintings, right? Like 50 minutes. And here's our reveal of Morty the rescue.
What a
Aw, great job.
cutie. Say hi to Morty for me.
And you
I
said you
will.
couldn't paint. You just did.
Pause for Pittsburgh.
Yay.
Your painting
that's
was
where,
great.
that's where Morty was from.
Yeah, pause for Pittsburgh.
Great painting,
Rescue's
Mary.
got a rescue. I'm
Great
gonna-
painting. Maria,
Thank you.
appreciate you
All
guys.
right.
Thanks for having me. This
Sure.
was totally fun.
You're
Great to
welcome.
have you. Come back anytime. And I'm going to show you next episode our guest. I'll give you a little hint. She is an opera singer, world-renowned opera singer. And we're painting cardinals because apparently people love cardinals, right,
Yeah.
Alan?
Yes, they
and,
do.
She's a singer. And cardinals are known for their singing, their musical songs in the springtime, especially, and it'll be springtime. So we're going to paint very colorful. When you meet our guest, she's very colorful, vibrant, and I feel like this fit her. So I created that for her. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and see you hopefully next time.